Hi guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. Well, Adeoti's first wife, whose name is Funsho Adeoti, has revealed that she has no revenge in her plans, but she's waiting, arms crossed, and watching to see where Aigbe and Adekas will get to. As she doesn't have any plan to revenge, but they will fuck themselves up. You cannot mess up someone's life and expect to go scot-free. Well, this comes in two ways. It seems the people who are of bad conduct get away with a lot of things these days, and life is not Nollywood movie. Some people get away with bad behavior, but at the same time, some people do not get away with it. They get what they deserve. Karma catch up with some people, while some people get away with a lot of things. Well, Funsho Adeoti had shared on our Insta story, that she's not going to revenge. She doesn't have it in her plans. But they should bear in mind that they do not mess up other people's life and expect that theirs is going to be perfect and rosy. Well, this comes a day after Mr. Gentry himself had posted on his social media page saying that no woman would build a house for you for free. They always want something in return, and that his priorities are his children. Well, after sharing this, a follower also concurred with him, saying he agrees with Mr. Gentry and that his ex is living off someone else's sweat. We already know how the Gasbos went down all through earlier this year, when Messi decided to own up and come out of her shell, saying she's now in a new relationship with Adekas's wife. Of course, a lot of people felt pity for her, and Messi called out names, fought her publicly, but Adekas and Messi are far gone in their relationship. Well, sharing on her social media page, that is Funsho Adeoti, her plans, she said in her words, and I quote, "Revenge is not in my plans. You will fuck yourself on your own. Karma comes after everyone eventually. You can't get away with screwing people over your whole life. What goes around comes around. That's how it works. Sooner or later, the universe will serve you the revenge that you deserve." This was Funsho Adeoti sharing this, and we already know that the message is directed to two sets of people, Messi and Adekas. Before now, when our marriage was still intact with Mr. Adeoti, she doesn't make posts like this, talking about revenge, talking about moving on, talking about being strong for herself. And of course, we all know that this message is directed and indirectly talking to Messi, Aigbe, and her husband. And this comes after all the basketballs that happened earlier this year with Messi, Aigbe, Adeoti, Larry Gentry, and Funsho Adeoti. Well, this caught a lot of people by surprise when she came out fully owning up that she's now in a relationship with Mr. Adeoti. A lot of people felt really bad and really sad for the wife with Funsho Adeoti. And Funsho Adeoti also fought tooth and nail just to let the world know that she worked for this and she will not sit back and watch another woman eat her sweat. Contrary to what Messi, Aigbe, and Adeoti are claiming, that they were never friends, nothing ever happened back then, as so many people have claimed, this is not true, as some puzzles are beginning to add up. Now, in 2021, Mr. Gentry and Messi Aigbe were at each other's jugular after Messi celebrated herself on Father's Day. Well, Mr. Gentry went ahead to share that it cost him nothing to expose all the sexcapade of Messi Aigbe with the marketers, but he wouldn't do that because of their son. And of course, she's a good mother. But one day the truth will be out. And that day was earlier this year in January, when Messi Aigbe decided to come out of her hiding and own up her shit, saying she's now a new wife to Mr. Adeoti, and they already had their traditional wedding and every other rites are taking place. Now, in an interview after they both come out and owned up to be in a relationship with each other, Mr. Adeoti explained in the interview that he had advised Messi Aigbe not to leave her marriage, and that back then he was still residing in the USA. But one thing Mercy said to him was that if she were to be Mr. Kazim's sister, will he advise her to remain in such marriage? And that was how he left things. And when he got back to Nigeria, they started off things from there. So apparently, this is two things. Mercy Aigbe was still married to Mr. Gentry while she was having this conversation with Mr. Kazim Adeoti. And it also gives a concrete base to the fact shared by Funsho Adeoti, where she was saying in the post she shared online that Mercy Aigbe had been a menace to her marriage for years. And this is contrary to what Kazim and Mercy were claiming, that they never knew each other, they were not friends, they didn't know, nothing was going on up until recently when he got back to Nigeria. And also Mr. Gentry shared that as a socialite, he knows when something is going on between a man and a woman, and this comes after Mercy claims to have a business meeting and business talk with Kazim Adeoti, and he said he confronted her that there's something going on, but she denied this. In 2020, here was what Mr. Larry Gentry shared about his ex-wife, explaining that it cost him nothing to expose all her prostitution and act with the so-called marketer. In his words, he said, Mercy Aigbe, it does not take me a minute to expose all your shady secrets, callous, inhumane, and prostitution acts with all your so-called marketer. But I will not, because of my son Olajuwon and your very good mother. But when the time comes, the whole world will still know the fake life you are living. And you need to stop all this, your arrogant life. This was Mr. Gentry sharing this. And speaking of the interview where Mr. Kazim Adeoti was explaining that he initially advised her not to leave her marriage. In his words, he said, when she had bad experience in her last marriage, I was advising her then not to leave her marriage. Then she asked me, if I were your sister, are you going to ask me to be in an abusive relationship? So I just left her a little because I was in the US. Speaking further, he said after this, he gave Aigbe some money and invited her for dinner, an act that rekindled their relationship and eventually led to their marriage. On his relationship with Gentry before he married Aigbe, Mr. Adeoti said though they knew each other before the recent marriage, they had never been friends. And also, finally completing the puzzle was when Funsho Adeoti explained that all of their claims and all of the things said on social media and in the interview, it's all lies and she's not a part of it. And here was what she had to say. What she said, I want you all to know that in contrast to what Mr. Adeoti said, I did not and will never settle to have a second wife in my marriage to him. Kazim, you should stop painting a perfect picture of a marriage you clearly do not have with me, Oluwafunsho Asiwaju Couture. You and your side chick can continue with whatever it is you're doing, but never come out social media degrading me or my children with your demeaning and childish attitude. I will not stoop to your level of rubbish and stupidity. You have been sleeping with Kazim since your son was only 5 months old. I introduced you to Kazim as my friend. I called and personally invited you and your ex-husband to the 40th surprise birthday party I did for my soon-to-be ex-husband. You were a constant friend of mine back then. I brought you close as a friend because I liked you, but you repaid me by sleeping with my husband. You were a problem in my marriage for years. Now I am happy to let you know this is only the beginning of the end of you. I'm done. He is all yours. Enjoy. I'm really past this. Like I said in my first post, losing someone who doesn't respect or appreciate you is actually, again, not a loss. Well, Mercy Aigbe and Mr. Kazim seems to be in love, and they don't hesitate to share this with their fans on social media. Well, a lot of people are rooting for them. At the same time, a lot of people are looking out to see how this marriage between these two is going to end, positively or negatively. Guys, let's hear your opinion in the comment section. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment in the comment section below. Thank you. Bye.